Welcome, everyone. Dr. Josh Long here with AME Podcast, my quest to talk to folks who are interested and involved with lifelong learning and music engagement. That's right, folks. The people who continue making music beyond the classrooms also help facilitate that lifelong learning beyond the classrooms. We're sponsored by Art and Music Emporium, serving artistic excellence. We do such things as fix instruments. We also do provide music lessons as well for adult learners and folks who are interested in this lifelong learning engagement. We also do other things such as our annual ensemble performance opportunities, such being the annual Community Band by the Sea in Wildwood, New Jersey, which I actually have the shirt on today for that. That happens at the end of July, and as well as the Bethlehem Steel Company Legacy Band, which occurs, it's been occurring in October the last few years. And basically, both of those performances, if you are interested in being involved with them, you can actually come to the rehearsal just the day before the concert, and then we do the concert the next day. So if you're not close, you can still participate. And with the Bethlehem Steel Company Legacy Band, we're actually recreating history with the Bethlehem Steel Company Band that used to exist there in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania at the steel plant. So it's really cool. We also do other things such as Tuba Christmases, which I also know we're going to talk to Steve about today because I know he does those as well as we do other different performances that pop up. So if you're interested, please check out www.artmusicemporium.com. We have everything up there. We are on YouTube, which I'm hoping you're watching this on. If you are, please subscribe to our channel. We're also on Facebook. Do give us a like, as well as we do have a Patreon account if you're interested. All proceeds, again, go to folks who are interested in lifelong learning and get them engaging, making music lifelong. Well, I'm so super excited about talking to my next guest. I met him while I was doing a visiting position up in the New Hampshire region, and it was really fun. I played in his performances and his bands, which is awesome. And I know he's really engaged in helping others make music. I see him on Facebook continuing doing so much for so many people and so many other musicians. I know he's a public school educator. He also has a natural music school and a natural concert band, which we're actually going to talk about a little bit today, and also a fellow euphonium player, as I said, which I won't say is a bad thing because, sometimes us euphonium players, we get a little bit in trouble. So please welcome Steve Damon. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing well. You really think I'm a euphonium player?
Well, you play it.
I do play it.
I'm just saying that because I know your connection to Tuba Christmas is.
Well, there is that, yes. You know what my major instrument is?
Actually, I don't know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I've always watched you play euphonium, so
Right?
go ahead.
No.
You-
We'll let it slip out at some point.
We'll let it slip out at some point. All right. Well, this is actually a good spot. Yeah, this is
You can try
actually.
to figure it out.
Yeah, I'll kind of figure it out on the way. That's good. Well, hey, I thought it'd be great to kind of start talking a little bit about maybe, your interest in music and what got you involved with music making. And we can even go back, not to be wrong in saying this, but back in the days when you started making music and those kind of things, if you want to share some of those experiences, because I know some of those experiences kind of live on with others, and it's a lot of fun to hear about them. So if that's
So
cool.
we can go back to what the kids call the 1900s.
Yes. I know. Doesn't that feel bad?
Oh, yeah, it's a feeling I can't explain.
Yeah.
Um, so I started playing music back in the 1900s.
Okay.
Um, both my sisters had played instruments.
Mhm.
One was a flute player, one was a clarinet player. So when I got
Okay.
to fifth grade, my parents said, "Okay, which instrument do you want?" And I
Yeah.
said, "Sax."
Yeah.
So I started playing tenor sax in fifth grade.
Okay.
Tenor because the school had one and I could just
Yeah.
borrow it. So I played tenor, and then I got moved to Barry as soon as I was big and strong enough to carry the tenor. I was moved to Barry,
Yeah.
and then got to my freshman year of high school, and I switched over to my major instrument and played that through high school and played that through college. And I'm still playing it. Uh, just last night, I was sitting in the Doug Nelson band room at Keene State College playing my major instrument during.
You're going to tantalize me this whole time, aren't you?
Hey, that's what I do. you emailed me. I went, how am I going to tantalize Josh?
I know you were into the woodwind areas. I was actually going to be my guess if I did would say I was going to say saxophone actually, and I know you said that.
Well, what's
I know you
funny
were
is
saxophone and the clarinet, I believe too, if I'm not mistaken.
what's funny is people, and you just proved it.
Yeah,
People think of me as a euphonium player
yeah,
because after I graduated, well, I started playing in drum and bugle corps back in the
yeah.
1900s
Yep.
and played with the Boston Crusaders on baritone bugle. And after graduation, I that was pretty much the instrument I played. So when you say, "Oh, you a fellow euphonium player," I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." Still haven't told you what my instrument is, though.
Well, it's interesting because I know you always when I do different parades and I've done alumni drum corps, I know you always pick up on that and you're like, hey, make sure your bell is up, and you can give me a hard time.
You, you had a Bridgman cap on, holding a trombone. I'm like, those two things. No, that's just
Yeah.
okay. Bridgman got into two valves, but never a slide. That
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Well, that group, just so you know, is actually the Tappan Zee Bridgemen, and they're
Oh,
work.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not the drum corps
No,
Bridgemen.
it's not the Bayonne.
Yeah, it's not the Bayonne one. No, it's and actually a lot of them are and were in drum corps prior to that, so they play like that. But it's a really cool kind of a different kind of group because they have trombone, tuba, and trumpet, and they also use flugelhorns and things like that, flugelhorns and and different things. So it's really interesting sound. Like it sounds like a drum corps, though
Mhm.
it's not. You know what I
And
mean? Meaning a typical drum corps.
it's named after a bridge that no longer exists, right?
Yes, even though if you talk to everybody in the area,
We still call it
everybody will
that.
call it that. So,
You're going down to you're going down to Allentown a few years ago for DCI East.
yeah,
And we drove over the river. It's like it's still a Tappan Zee Bridge.
yep, yep.
You can't change that.
I know. Well, some of the signs they'll say it, and if again you talk to
Oh,
some of
do
the members,
they?
and they'll and anybody in the area, they're like, it's still that bridge. So hey, I was
Formerly, no, no, no.
yeah,
Formerly known as. Yeah,
formerly known as yeah. Well, so I was just interested, what were some of your memorable experiences, whether with the drum corps or with, high school band or college band or anything that really sticks in your mind? Because I like to kind of jump into that because I think, sometimes, that lives with us,
yeah.
as I say. And I was just interested if you wanted to share some of that.
This is kind of funny. This is the question I've been asking my fifth and sixth graders all
Mhm.
week. We're doing a unit on Stravinsky's Firebird, and
Okay.
we always start with what's your first memory of music?
Uh-huh.
Because Stravinsky actually tells us in his autobiography what his first memory of music is.
Hmm.
Of course, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's a good one. So go check out, Stravinsky Robert Kraft
Hmm.
autobiography, and I tell the kids, I want to hear your first memories, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to make you answer before I answer.
Yeah.
So the two answers that I give them of my first memories of music, not band playing,
Hmm.
but of music, is I was really tiny. I guess like maybe 3 years old because I was taking a bath by myself. So
Okay.
that shows that I'm not a baby. I'm more of
Yeah.
a toddler here.
Hmm.
But I remember getting out of the bathtub and getting in my pajamas and everything and hearing my mother down at the organ in between
Yeah.
the living room and dining room.
Yeah.
We still have an organ, and she would open up the church hymnal and just start playing.
Yeah.
And when she was done with the hymn, she flipped the page and she started in with the next one.
Mhm.
And I remember lying on the couch and just listening to her play.
Yeah.
And she just died this past November. So when she was really sick at home,
Yeah.
I took out the same hymnal and I had a recorder at the time, also not my main instrument. I took out my recorder and just, started playing the hymns that she'd played when, 50 years ago, back in the 1900s. Um, and the other memory, oh, it's right here. The other memory is I have one of my sisters is a flute player and
Okay.
I'm 10 years younger.
Uh-huh.
So she good for her. She would come home with her flute and practice. She
Yeah.
would sit on her bed when this weird contraption, legs over the bed with the music here of
Yeah.
Holst, and me being the little brother, I thought I'd be helpful. So I would go over and get the flute cleaning rod, which looked like a conductor's baton to me.
Hmm.
And I would help her practice her flute playing as I was
It's awesome.
practicing my ictus in between her eyes and nose. Um, she never did whack me off the bed as she should have. Um, but those are my first memories of music. But for band memories, they're too many. Um,
Sure.
many band trips. Um, I remember going to a festival for the first time on my major instrument and having the the adjudicator mention that instrument,
Yeah.
being heard so nicely.
Yeah.
And drum corps, I I'm actually an administrator of a Facebook page for the Boston Crusaders, memories and folklore and tall tales, and
Oh yeah.
uh, the Corps is 85 years old. We have way
Hmm.
too many memories of things that happened with the drum
Sure.
that I'm not supposed to talk about. Anyway. Um, but band memories, the one that brings us to a natural concert band.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, I was conducting a community band,
Hmm.
which I had played with since uh, my freshman year of high school. I was playing Barry sax
Hmm.
and tenor, mostly Barry,
Hmm.
um, and my major instrument a couple times. So I was playing Barry sax through college and then with them. And then I became the assistant conductor and went to
Hmm.
grad school and became the conductor and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And we had kind of a not seeing of the minds
Hmm.
between some of the band members and me and my lovely bride Joanna.
Hmm.
And we decided we need to get out of this toxic environment that
Hmm.
the band was at the time.
Right.
Um, I it's a community band.
Hmm.
You've got your marches and you've got your pop tunes from the
Yep.
1900s.
Yep.
And I would go home, and this is, early YouTube, and I go to YouTube and go, Russian Christmas music. And Joanna would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Do you think we could pull off Russian Christmas music with the band?" And she's like, "No, no, no, it's a different band.
Yep.
No, we're not playing Russian Christmas music." I'm like, "But I
Yeah.
think we have a French horn player this year." No, no, you want eight. So we parted ways, and I said, Joanne and I talked about this a lot, and we went, we want a band, not a community band, but we want a band
Hmm.
for the band directors.
Right.
Because we all go through college, we get to play
Yep.
Russian Christmas music. Joanna's big one was Scenes from the Louvre.
Hmm.
And we're like, we want a band that plays this repertoire.
Yeah.
There are no bands around here that plays such a repertoire.
Right.
So we went, well, let's make one. So we made one.
Yeah.
And at the time we had the A Natural Music School going, which we still have going, but
Hmm.
the day job takes a lot of time.
Sure.
So we do a little bit of A Natural stuff.
Right.
And I should probably tell you the A Natural, we spent hours trying to come up with the right name for our music school. We had the Vivace Andante, the Andante Vivace.
Yeah.
We had the Molto. We had everything that we could, and nothing worked.
Yeah.
And we had Hurricane Irene come over our house, like literally.
Uh-huh.
We watched the eye. My son and I were out playing lacrosse at the time. The eye went over our house,
Jeez.
and my mother-in-law was over for the day because her house has lots of trees around it.
Okay.
So if you have a hurricane, you get away from the trees.
Right.
So she came over and we're going through, Norton scores. We have to find some sort of name that fits us. And I finally went, I don't know. Let's talk about the weather instead. And my mother-in-law goes, well, it's about time you do something like this. This is such a natural thing for you to do. And I went, oh, a natural thing. So that's where the a natural comes
Yep.
from.
Wow.
Get getting a bunch of your friends together with instruments and
Hmm.
making music. It's
Yeah.
a natural thing to do. My mother-in-law gets the credit for it. So that's the a natural origin. So when we wanted to start the band, we were going to start the a natural concert band, but for the conductors mainly, because when we graduate from college up in this area, we're talking Greenfield, Mass, Brattleboro, Keene, this little triangle of tri-state,
Hmm.
there aren't bands that play scenes from the Louvre. So we're going to make it ourselves. And we literally had professional musicians jumping at us. Okay, I'll throw some names. Remember Bob Thies?
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Trombone player,
Yeah.
Bob
Trombone.
Thies.
Yep.
He was working in a pharmacy at the time, and I went in to get, I don't know, aspirin or something or other, and he was behind the counter. And I said, oh, Bob, we're starting a new band. You want to come play trombone? We're going to be playing Russian Christmas music and scenes from Louvre in the March from 1941. And he literally jumped over. There's a little door between the two of us, and he jumped over the door and came running. And yes, he decided that he wanted to do so, which is funny because it took him until this past year to where his schedule actually worked so he could. But Bob finally played with us in 2025. But we literally had people jumping at us because these were the wind players and the brass players from the area orchestras that didn't have the band.
Hmm.
So we started, I want to say 2013, maybe 14, I don't know, something back after the 1900s. Um, and it's kind of funny. Our first concert was in June, and then I had planned it so that we had one concert a month. So we actually had a concert also in August
Yeah.
where most of the percussion and brass players were going to DCI finals that weekend. And I went, well, that was bad planning. So I called up a friend of mine, Brian, and he's a drummer and a band director. And I said, so what are you doing, a week from Saturday? We have a concert in Bernardston, and I have lost my percussionist to DCI. And he said, well, actually, I'm busy. I can't help you that day either. But what are you doing? And I told him, this is a natural concert band. We're just starting it up. This is our first year. And after I gave him my spiel, he goes, well, that's kind of interesting because I'm doing the same thing. I said, oh, and what is that? And he's the co-founder and the music director of Valley Winds, which is situated kind of like Belchertown area of Massachusetts. So we're talking 45 minutes away. He was doing the same thing. I was stressed to him that we beat him by about 2 months. We are a concert band. He's a wind ensemble. He auditions and he rehearses, and
Yeah.
they are a wind ensemble. But we had a natural concert band start up in June. Valley Wind started in like September, and then one of the area orchestras decided to play Lincolnshire Posy and kick
Wow.
all the strings off the stage for a concert. So I was like, okay, this shows you that we are ready to have a concert band rather than a community orchestra.
Yeah.
You have three groups all within a few months, I'll do it at the same time.
It's cool. And if I may ask, why do you think, I mean, I understand the repertoire, but
Yep.
what do you think really motivated folks to do that? And
Um,
as well as yourself.
Number one is repertoire. I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah.
I throw the repertoire out to people every year and they go, I haven't played that one since my junior year of undergrad, that
Yep.
type of thing.
Yep.
Four Scottish dances, no way. Are we going to do this version or that version? And but yeah, that's the big one. But number two, when did I send you an invitation this year? I don't
I,
think I did.
I
You're
don't
kind
think you.
of far away.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
we do have a trumpet player in Brazil. We send her an
Oh wow.
invitation every year, but we don't invite you.
Yeah.
Um, but I always start any invitation is dear happy musician, because I'd had such a negative experience with this community band
Mhm.
that I wanted to build a band that played this repertoire, but they were happy and friendly about it too.
Mhm.
There are musicians around here. By the way, I'm at school. And there are musicians in this area who are fine musicians, and we have never invited them
Right.
because they don't fit the the happy-go-lucky.
Right.
We want all of the players to be low brass players in disposition. And we have 50 players, typically between 45 and 50 players, all fine musicians and all happy to be there. I was actually recruiting a new person last night in Keene, and one of my third trumpet players walked by who had played soprano for Blue Devils, first soprano for Blue Devils. So, he comes and plays third trumpet for me. Um, and he made some snide comment about, yeah, I even learned which part of the trumpet to put up to my face with Steve. Um, Still, I wonder why he always held it wrong. But it it's a fine, way too many music degrees in this band.
Mhm.
I should take an average, but I think it's 2.3 music degrees per player. It's kind of sickening. Oh, you only have two doctorates. Oh, you got ethnomusicology in there too. Missed that. Actually, my ethnomusicology professor from grad school actually came and played. He played alto sax for us the first year, and at the end of the first year, he goes, I'm a clarinet player. I said, really? I thought you were an E flat player. And he goes, yes, E flat clarinet is what I prefer to play. So he came back a couple years to play E flat clarinet and
Yeah.
B. And I still haven't said my major instrument. Um, so the reason we have this core of 45 people. Okay, my second oboist can't make it this year because she's going to be in Europe playing instead. And Donna Morse.
Oh yeah.
Donna Morse is going to be off too. So Donna and Dave can't make it either.
Mhm.
So, but these are the core people.
Yeah.
They can't make it this year. You talk about a team having a deep bench.
Mhm.
Oh no, Lynn can't make it. I guess Jim will come play the English horn parts. We actually have more double reed players than we do percussionists. It's odd. Actually, we have more oboists than we have percussionists.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm always interested like in that engagement. Like, first of all, I'll say to you, I'm kind of in that same realm. Like, I think sometimes, in the community band world, we tend to have the more watered down pieces. You know what I mean? And I don't like that myself because it's like, if you're going to play, I always say it this way. I know we all play marches, but if you're going to play something, if you're going to play, I want to play the original. Why not? You know what I
Yep.
mean? We can do it. And I find that with the repertoire, but I also think like, I think it just challenges people.
Mhm.
And, it seems like how you're talking. I mean, they're jumping over, to come to you. They're jumping to you. And
Yep.
it's like, I find that very fascinating.
Mhm.
It's like, like I'll just share this really quickly. The Bethlehem Steel Company Legacy Band, we actually recreate some of the music that they originally played. Well, some of the music, of course, a lot of it's transcriptions, marches. We get all of that, but I mean, it's not easy.
Nope.
you know, you
And the
know,
trombone players are all reading treble clef just for the fun of it.
yeah. I mean, it's just amazing, and it's just I think all the time because it's like in the band world, and this is what I'm struggling with, and maybe you have some ideas to that you can add and think about, is this lifelong learning side of it, and I know I tend to see sometimes people go through school and then they stop making music. And it's like, whether it's, the fall off after high school or the fall off after college or whatever it is. You know what I mean? I'm just using that as like a time in life when life changes, right? Because you become an adult, right? And you get responsibilities and you get a house and you got to work and all those things. And it's, I always think, what is the carrot to get people to, motivated to continue making music? Is it the repertoire? Is it the experiences? Is it the amount of concerts? And I don't know if you have anything to say about that.
Well, you said a amount of concerts. The negative experience that I'd had, we were having like 20, maybe 25 performances between May and August.
Wow.
And, I'm a teacher. I like to calm down a little bit during the summer, but when every Wednesday night we had a concert and most weekends we had some sort of parade, I'm
Yeah.
like, no, we're going to keep this nice and low key. Um, so we started with 4 rehearsals
Hmm.
and then we would have 3 concerts. I don't know if you hit one of these years, but we try to do one in all 3 states.
Okay.
A couple of times we actually hit the 3 states. Um, but another strange carrot that I never saw coming.
Hmm.
Remember Beth Ann, the flute player?
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, Beth Ann, the flute player, is very much um, an orchestral player, and she
Okay.
gone all through. I think she was Oberlin playing all orchestra stuff.
Hmm.
So somebody gave me her name. I'm like, okay, I'll give her a call. Well, wait, is she a fine musician? Is she a happy person? Okay, I'll give her a
Yeah.
call. And I called her and I said, so we're playing big pieces. The first year was Russian Christmas music and uh Crown Imperial.
Hmm.
We were playing big blows as the trumpet players called Crown
Yeah.
Imperial. And she's like, wow, I gave her the whole list and she's like, I've never played any of those because she is such an orchestral player. She doesn't play Holsinger and Giroux. She
Yeah.
plays whatever they're playing in orchestra at the time.
Mhm.
So that was a little interesting little carrot. I give her the repertoire and she's like, "Oh, I've heard of the composer." And she'll go to YouTube and try to find everything.
Yeah.
And another carrot, I did you play euphonium for us?
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Um, so you played euphonium and then Brandon, I was mentoring
Yep.
Brandon at the time, so Brandon came
Yep.
and played with us. We had no euphonium player last year,
Oh, okay.
but we have all these professional low brass players.
Hmm.
So our euphonium player last year was actually the sackbut player. Yes, we have a sackbut professor in a natural concert band, and he plays,
Yep.
whatever low brass he needs to play. And I said, would you like to play euphonium? Because he had played in Tuba Christmas euphonium.
Right.
So he was, playing euphonium. And we had done 4 rehearsals, 3 concerts. And then the pandemic hit. Now we do 1 rehearsal, 1 concert. We're done before July. And that frees up a lot of these professional musicians
Hmm.
because, well, I can make the first 2 rehearsals and I can make 1 concert, but I'm playing with the Philadelphia Orchestra on those
Yeah.
other dates.
Yep.
This is insane. We're pulling people from Philadelphia
Yeah.
up to Winchester, New Hampshire. So now that we have one and one and done, we actually get these players who play with the Philadelphia Orchestra who can come play French horn for us.
Yep.
So the sackbut player who played euphonium last year, he's sight reading uh the Rusty Bucket is the name of the piece. I
Okay.
can't, Chambers? You can't remember the woman's name, the composer's name, but he's sight reading it in rehearsal, and there's this big euphonium solo. So we get to the euphonium solo, and I look over at Greg and I give him the cue, and he kind of goes, keep going. And he got to the end,
Yep.
and I stopped the band. I looked over at him. I went, "You'll have that next week?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." because of course he's going to have it next year and next week. He's just sight reading this monster of a solo,
Right.
and it's great to look at the band and go, okay, you'll have it. I'm not worried about this whatsoever. And he brought a friend of his, uh, a clarinet player, emailed me and said, "So I'm a friend. I'm adding tone here. It's an email, but I'm a friend of Greg's, and he said maybe you could use a clarinet player. Um, I've attached my resume in case you need it. If you want to hear me play, just tell me when and we can meet up. Tell me your thoughts." I'm like, okay. So I opened up the resume and he's like spent the last 20 years in Broadway pit bands and teaching lessons at Juilliard. I'm like, I think we can forego the whole audition process here. You want to come play first? We're going to do Handle on the Strand.
Well, I kind of agree with you with that. It's like, I find, I think the old, and I'm going to say old, and we'll say 1900s,
The
just like you keep
1900s.
sounding, yeah, in the 1900s, like the old style of when you were in a band. I mean, you played, and I'm talking, like even the company band that I talk about. I mean, you rehearsed every Wednesday, you had concerts, you had 20 concerts, you play at every, social event. And I think the way we're so busy, I'll say that, everybody's doing multiple things than back in the 1900s, as we say, you know, um, it's funny that, and especially with, recordings and, technology, I find, the less is better, kind of thing, even with rehearsals, less or better. You know what I mean? Just like I was saying earlier, and I'm not saying this, I tend to put on, just like you, put on a really hefty concert and we have one rehearsal.
Right.
So it's like, but I realize that, I can give folks the music prior, and they're able to look at it and we're just putting things together when they get there. It's like, and that works, it can happen. And I think that's what, sometimes I think that's what holds people up, even participating too, just because, oh, I don't know, because, the whole story of when you join one band, you're in like 20 and every night of the week you could be out. It was actually funny. I'll share this with you, and you can talk a little bit more about it. I'm actually going down to the AC Bands convention this year, and they're like, "What's your home band?" And I'm like, "Very, yeah, interesting. That's an interesting question."
You need you need to make like a patchwork. Get a shirt, get a little block of each shirt and just make your own patchwork
Yeah.
of we had this past June, I guess it was, maybe May,
Yeah.
last spring, we had a community band festival, of Pioneer Valley, which is the Connecticut River Valley in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And I think we had probably 15 or 20 different bands.
That's cool.
And the person organizing it plays French horn for a natural concert band. And actually he's hosting us in 2026. He's gone beyond. We have a very exciting 2026 coming up. We should have invited you. And he's organizing this whole community band festival. And he's
Hmm.
like, "Oh, come on, bring, Joanna can play trumpet and you can play your major instrument and you'll have a ball." And I'm like, I can't think of a worse afternoon. I can't.
Hmm.
The experience I'd had with the community band, I'm like, I'm not putting myself through that again. And finally
Yeah.
I twisted enough and I went, fine, I'll go get my instrument and we'll come and play. And I had an absolute blast.
Yeah.
I was surrounded by 150 happy community band players.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I you ask about memories I have from.
Hmm.
I started playing in the band in 1985.
Hmm.
I played or conducted to 2012 or something like that.
Okay.
It'd been
Hmm.
like 25 years that I'd been in the band.
Yeah.
And, I have great memories of driving all the way to Provincetown, Massachusetts, out on the edge of the very tip of the Cape
Yeah.
for a Blessing of the Fleet, big Portuguese area, the Blessing
Hmm.
of the Fleet parade. We did that for 2 years. I forget those memories. I forget the memory about, oh, as soon as we got to Cape Cod, we noticed that all the power was out and we had big lightning around us. And by the time we got to Providence, they had canceled the parade because they
Yeah.
had no power. They made some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for us, gave us the sandwiches and said, go home. And we went back to Franklin County, Massachusetts, and it was beautiful here. We ate our peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but every every band performance and every band rehearsal has some sort of little memory to it, be it
Yeah.
good or bad. Uh, a few years ago, um, we were getting ready for a natural concert band, and on the way over to the rehearsal, Joanna receives a text from her sister saying, "Something's happened. My daughter is in the emergency room. We don't know what it is." So, our heads are way someplace
Yeah.
else.
Right.
Conducted, Joanna played her trumpet solos, and afterwards, I had said something to one of the players about, we need to go find out what's happening in the emergency room, and they're like, "What happened?" And we told them what was happening. And you had rehearsal? I'm like,
Hmm.
we couldn't do anything about it,
Right.
So we had the rehearsal. I conducted, Joanna played, and
Hmm.
and the niece turned out to be some bad interaction of medication.
Right.
She doesn't take those medications anymore.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
every performance, every time you get with a band, something's going to happen to remember.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good to it's great to share that, whether it's good or bad, because I think like sometimes we, expect everything to be perfect. You know what I mean? And I think like this was something that somebody said to me one time, that sometimes people have to have that perfect experience or think that they're, the best that they can be at that to do that experience. Like for example, and I say this, and being a euphonium player, yes, I do. I have a master's degree in it. Of course I do. Do I know everything about the euphonium? Absolutely not. So, can I play the best in the world? Absolutely not. I will say that because there are people who are better than me. And that's kind of the cool part about it is to learn more and to be challenged. And, it's just like you said, whether it was a bad experience or something, you just kind of kept going. And I was just interested if you wanted to talk a little bit more about that motivation, of, there's a rehearsal, and we're here, like motivation to, continue whether things are good or bad around you. I'll say it that way.
Um, well, we had a rehearsal last night,
Hmm.
and I could only come up with about seven other places I wanted to be. And we got there early because that's what you do. We're like
Yep.
20 minutes early, and I warmed up my major instrument and went back, and I was sitting with one of the trumpet players who had played with a natural concert band, and he said something like, "Wait, it's Tuesday. Why are you here? Is Joanna here?" And I said, "Of course Joanna's here. Why would I be here if Joanna wasn't here? It was her idea to come. I didn't want to be here, but I'm here." Um, but the motivation is, you know, I hadn't played my major instrument for such a long time
Hmm.
that it's kind of fun to go to a band rehearsal and go, "Wow, I actually have chops again."
Right.
Back in September, I sat in my first rehearsal and I hadn't played my instrument for decades. And John gives the downbeat and looks over at me with the look of, "Oh, maybe I should have auditioned you." But I've got my chops. Oh, here's a little bit of a clue. I've got some reeds tied.
Hmm. There we go.
Got some reeds tied. So got my instrument overhauled,
Hmm.
and it's exciting to go on to. Typically, it's Thursday
Hmm.
night that we
Yeah.
get to go, but it's fun to go and say, "Wow, I am an instrumentalist. I can make this
Yeah.
work."
Yeah.
Um, I hadn't really played since 92. I graduated back in the 1900s in
Yeah.
92. And since then, my elbow has pretty much just sat there.
Yeah.
Of course, I take that out. I always have an oboe student or two,
Hmm.
and I'll, play with them, but I don't get to play Russian Christmas music.
Right. Right.
We're playing Bernstein's Mass last night. I'm going, oh my God, I'm playing Bernstein's Mass on oboe. This I did not see coming. Not doing the choreography, by the way, John.
That's great. I mean, and I guess I want to ask this kind of two different ways. One thing is like, what's your motivation as a player, to and I want to talk just player, and then we're going to talk conductor and teacher and those kind of things. To continue making music. I mean, I know it's your field. I get that. I know you're working as a music teacher. I get that. But I will also say, and I don't want to say it's the wrong way, but I've met music teachers who do not perform anymore. They only perform for their kids in the classrooms, and that's it. But you're still doing that. You know what I mean? And I was just interested if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's interesting because I was one of those teachers. Well, when it comes to performing, when it comes to playing, when it
Yeah,
comes to playing my oboe, I hadn't played for decades, literally decades.
for decades. Okay.
And I've been married for, we're coming up 24 years. And Joanna, as I took out my oboe back in September, she's like, wow, this is the seventh time I've seen you play your oboe. It's been 24 years we've been married. Um, but the motivation, you know, I started playing on a dead reed from maybe the 1900s.
Yeah.
Uh, and I heard myself,
Yeah.
and I was so motivated to, no, I used to be a damn good oboist. I can fix this.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yep.
so I got the oboe fixed. That helped immensely, and I
Yep.
got new reeds, which helped immensely too. Uh,
Yeah.
but I was motivated by, no, I can do this. You're giving me a grade 5 or a grade 6 piece. This should
Mm.
not disable me. This is just like more excitement of, yes, I'm gonna do this. And I got called to play the pit orchestra for Les Mis in December, just before Christmas. I
Okay.
got a call of, hey, can you come play the oboe English horn book? Which in August I would have verbally made lots of interesting sounds.
Uh-huh.
And you know, yeah, I could do that.
Right.
Wait, English horn? I don't have an English horn. I haven't. The last time I played English horn was Russian Christmas music in 1989. So I'm
Wow.
like, let me work on the English horn. Let me find an English horn.
Yeah, right. It's probably a
I
school horn, right? Probably a school
I
instrument, right?
I went to I the one I'd had in 89 was from the college, and
Okay.
it was firewood. And but I called my best friend, who's a high school band director outside of Boston. I said, I don't suppose you have an English horn, do you? He's like, of course I have an English horn. Of course you do. Um, so he let me borrow the English horn, which they had purchased because they were doing Les Mis a few years ago. So they
Wow.
had the English horn for Les Mis. So the motivation was, I can do this. I mean, Les Mis came out when I was in high school. I know every word of Les Mis. I know the oboe solo. I know the English horn solos. I
Right.
just English horn.
Right, right,
So
right.
when I got to Fontaine's Death, I turned the page and it says Fontaine's Death solo. I'm like, oh my God, I've got Fontaine's Death solo.
Right, 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 right,
I
right.
told all the kids, I don't know why, but the English horn gets all the death music.
Yeah.
Let's
Right.
scary, let's scary the corpses off the barricade. Have the English horn play a solo.
Right. Yeah, right.
But as a conductor, it all comes down to my motivation is wanting the kids to go, wait, I can do that. I can play this.
Right.
When they come in and suggest a song, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
Right.
Um, they introduce something new to me. I introduce to them that, yeah, I can teach this to you.
Right.
Uh, just before we got on this call,
Hmm.
I was running around with tubas and
Tubas,
bass
yeah.
clarinets. But right before that, we had five fifth and sixth grade euphonium players in here. And we were learning a piece that the fifth grader had suggested.
Hmm.
The cartoon Bluey?
I do. Yes.
Okay. You know the Bluey theme song?
I do not actually.
Yeah, well, my euphonium players do. So we were practicing the euphonium. So we have five euphonium players. I can't even sing it to you because I don't remember how it goes. But we have a concert in a couple of weeks, and the euphonium players are going to be playing Bluey's theme song, and it was
That's
their
awesome.
recommendation.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be Holst.
Right.
You find them where they are, and they're watching preschool cartoons because they have a little 3-year-old brother. Can we play Bluey? Let me YouTube that and see what happens. YouTube did it. I can teach you that.
Which is it's just like you said. I mean, I think, and I could be wrong, wrong in saying this, but I feel like you're really good at finding what people need and
Mhm.
what they want. You know what I mean? And just like you said, the repertoire of a natural concert band, or even with your students right now, it's like you're finding that what motivates them, something that is interest to them, whether it's, those, again, it's the Bluey theme song, or if it's, a tune you played when you were an undergrad. It's like,
Louis Holsinger,
yep,
there's
right.
a big similarity between the two. It's what people want.
Yeah, but that's what people want, right? And I feel like it's experiences, and I feel like, it's just, and it's going to kind of move into my next question for you. It's like you've put the time and energy, into creating this concert band, and being involved with, I even being involved with community music. I know you're taking it more in a direction of more heftier repertoire pieces, but you know, you're still like putting that time and energy, and I know it's a lot of time. Just like you said, it's like, and I'm just interested, like, what motivates you to do that, for is it for music's sake? Is it for, other musicians? It's like, because we see this, because, not to be wrong here, nothing wrong with this, but it could be easily done with a, garage guitar band. Now, of
Yep.
course, we're not going to play the same repertoire. And I, again, have nothing against garage guitar bands. Love them, rock bands, like listening to that kind of music, but we keep pushing that concert band music. We keep pushing, that engagement with large amount of people in a concert band setting. So, if that makes sense.
Um, I Back when I invited you to a natural concert
Hmm.
band
Hmm.
when you were in the area,
Yeah, when I was close.
when you weren't at nearest,
Yeah.
I I know I've said this to you, so thank you for pulling this out.
Yeah.
I will comment to the band that we're doing this for us. We're doing this for we musicians. We will have a performance because I really feel the audience completes the performance, but we're doing this for us because we don't get to play this music in other places. We can start a four-piece punk band, and I for years have wanted to start a punk band just because I have a list of great punk band names. Um, but to sit in a concert band or a wind ensemble and to have, I'm in the front. I can actually feel the wind occasionally. When you get to a triple forte and the euphonium players are behind me, you can, things rumble inside and your hair moves a little bit because there's just such power. Um, we are playing Maslanka's Give Us This Day back in the fall, which ends with this humongous um, gong crash,
Hmm.
and you're to dampen it like instantly. It's just like crash stop.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, let it ring. I'm in the front. Just let the vibrations come through me for 20, 25 seconds. And John, the conductor, is like, nope. David said he wanted it cut off. We're going to cut it off. And we ended the concert with that humongous crash and nothing. And I'm like, it does work better because there's so much
Hmm.
vibration and so much wind and so much activity. To just have it stop was like, oh, that was the right answer.
Right.
You have all the potential energy and it all just like, I'm going to make up a word. It kineticizes and then just stops. And it was just like this hush. I was
Yeah.
like, that was wicked cool. Okay, David, good job on the no let vibrate. But just, 65, 70 people all doing that at the same time.
Hmm.
And we're doing it for us. Yes, it's great to have an audience, but let's enjoy this and let's enjoy what we're playing. Let's enjoy how we're playing it. Let's enjoy how we're listening to it.
Right.
You know, if you're playing, you're listening more than you're playing. Listen to what's around you. I'm an oboist. See, I've said that multiple times. You better know my major instrument
Yeah.
by
I
now.
know. I know it now.
You trying to get it in there, Josh. But
Well,
I,
I'm
I
just
have
I'll stop you for a second.
yeah,
Euphonium keeps pulling you in. You're carrying tubas around, you're playing,
seriously.
teaching euphonium players, so
I
so
I I got to be I got to my senior year of college and I seriously thought of changing major instruments. I absolutely fell in love with euphonium. And so I've played back there. I have
yeah,
played euphonium in concert band.
yep,
And sorry, you miss out of a ton. You
yeah,
have percussion behind you and you hear the woodwinds are doing some surely something or other, but you really don't get to, you as a conductor get to hear it, but
yeah,
you as a euphonium player, you don't get the whole experience. It's
right,
kind of sad.
yeah,
But the one semester I played euphonium in concert band, I don't remember what the piece was, but the concert band conductor at break, says, "Hey Steve, come up here for a minute."
hmm,
So I went up to Danny and he goes, "So this is our new piece of music we're doing. Look at that. There's an oboe solo in here. Too bad we don't have an oboist." I'm like, "You're kidding." He's like, "Just solfege that for me." What? Solfege that. Just read through that. It's a beautiful solo. I'm like, "Oh my Lord." Okay. So do and I'm reading it and he goes, "I don't suppose you can play that." I said, "I'm playing euphonium." He goes, "Yeah, but can't you have your oboe on a peg?" So that's the I played euphonium. I still don't know what the piece was, but I played euphonium, and for that piece, I put down the euphonium and stuck on my reed, and I picked up my oboe, and we had this oboe solo coming from the low pass section. I wish we had a video. I wish we had a camera on the audience going, "Where the hell is that coming from?"
that would be
Then
really really
the
interesting.
next semester I moved over to trumpet. See, as
Yeah,
an oboist, I was always in orchestra,
yeah,
and I for one semester I had 17 instruments in my locker. They gave me a big locker that year. But between all the euphoniums and the baritone saxophones and oboes, and I was playing in collegium at the time, so
hmm,
shawms and Roush fifes all over the place. Um, I played trumpet my last year of undergrad in the concert band
yeah,
just to try something new. And we were doing Festive Overture, the
hmm.
Shostakovich, can't remember the arranger. Um, but we're playing that in a national concert band this year. We're opening the concert with Festive Overture.
Oh, that's cool.
And I I played first trumpet, by the way, on that piece because the way the arranger did it. Oh, I just figured out how the arranger did this. The arranger put the melody and all the high notes in the third trumpet part
Okay. Hmm.
being played by the oboist. So I'm sight reading this, and like the first note's a G. I'm like, "Oh, this isn't going to go well." And it just kept going up. And I'm like, and my one of my college roommates was playing third trumpet at the time. He was a trumpet major. And I'm like, "Hey, Weeble, take this." And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "It's the melody part." And he's like, "It's the third." I'm like, "Right, look at it. It's the." So we're switching music, and Danny, the conductor's like, "Trumpets, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm taking the first part. Why are no, you can't play the first part." I'm like, "No, I have to play the first part. Look at the part." And he looks at his score. He goes, "Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, Steve, you get first trumpet on Festive Overture." I said, "I thought I might." Oh, I don't know who's going to get it this year, but we'll be sure be sure to know the voicings
Yeah.
of the arrangement.
That's awesome though. I mean, it's just great that like, it especially you. I just want to say this, especially that you kind of can be versatile and kind of jump around and and I know like these experiences that you're sharing, through music making is just they're just so great. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like people necessarily have those experiences, and for some reason, I was talking here. I just wanted to share this really quickly with you when they're at a school, and they're not part of, a school program anymore, they're not, have that community of that, and they move and they have a job or anything, band's not a part of that. You know what I mean? And they're not involved with it anymore. And it's like I feel like, yeah, it's stuck with you. You know what I mean? I know you went into profession. I mean, you obviously teach, and you're doing all these great different community programs. But it's just like I always wonder about that. I wonder, is it the institution? Is it the community of the institution? Those kind of things, or just to get people making music and just getting interested in it. Just because, I just reason why I'm saying this, I always feel is just a decline, right? I feel like there's, not as many playing. And I know, when we had Donna on here, I know if you watch that podcast, very interested in New Horizons bands and that seems to be taking such hold, and that has such a huge following is what I'm trying to say. And I was just wondering if if you if you have anything to say about that, as far as, you know, the music making world of as an adult or beyond, or the lifelong learning, or what you might do with your students right now, in the school district you work at.
Um, I don't know if you just said it, but a word popped in. I think you said it and
Mhm.
I was thinking it. You haven't mentioned Tuba Christmas for like minutes now.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
back, I was doing my post grad and we had to do some sort of project. And I actually did the project of lifelong learning through Tuba Christmas.
Hmm.
So, oh, this is like 97, 98, whatever, back in the 1900s.
1900s.
And and I had a questionnaire for all of the players of what's your background, what's your major instrument?
Yeah.
Because I always joke that when we went to Tuba Christmas, we set up our little woodwind section right in the middle, where we would be for an orchestra, and let all the tuba players surround us, and we could take out our fingering charts and figure out how things worked. Um, but there's a camaraderie of, you know, Tuba Christmas has a huge camaraderie of just like this brotherhood of tuba players,
Hmm.
which is funny because I'm the oboist and most of our so-called tuba players are woodwind players.
Hmm.
But
Very true.
they learn they want to play Jingle Bells and they even more they want to play National Emblem during Jingle Bells. So, they learn their couple of pieces and they come and play Tuba Christmas. And and then you have your drum corps people. If there's a fanatical bunch of musicians, it's drum and bugle corps. But there's a camaraderie of, you know, I was I aged out from Boston, 35 years ago or something, but it's still the camaraderie of I'm counting the days. I think we're down to like 89 right now of when I get to go up. By the way, I'm sitting in Vermont and Boston rehearses in Vermont that
Hmm.
way.
Yeah.
Um, in 89 days, I get to go up and see my Boston brothers. You
Yeah.
know, 89, something like that. I don't know how many days we're down to, but there's a camaraderie in any group you go to. I I really got out of my comfort zone a couple years ago and went to my undergrad, the university choral society alumni concert or something or other.
Okay.
You like to come sing? You once sang in a chorus. Would you like to come to the concert and sing again? I'm like, yeah, I sang in the chorus because you made me, because I had to sing it one semester. We sang
Yeah.
the Dursley Requiem, and it is a beautiful piece. The only piece that I prefer the organ over the full orchestra. Only one, Dursley.
Yeah.
Um, so I went and actually sang bass with all these vocal majors are so fish out of water. I had a blast. And the camaraderie of all these people who had gone to the same music department.
Hmm.
I wasn't part of them.
Yeah.
I was that one semester, but I went back and I actually have my invitation for this year's and I
Very
haven't
cool.
deleted it yet. I'm like, maybe I'll do it again.
Yeah.
It's right under Josh Long. I have, the invitation to come sing with us on whatever date it is. And I still haven't deleted it. I think I might actually go sing again.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Maybe not too.
Well, and it's something to say about that because, you know, like you said, with different ensembles and like Tuba Christmas is where you're heading with the camaraderie. I mean, it's like it's all. I think it's what people don't understand. I mean, it was made to bring tuba and euphonium players together, right? But the two I run, I have trombone players playing, I have trumpet players playing, there's oboe players playing. It's like, and it's great because they all come out and play the Christmas tunes. But it's also, I think, we're all working together. And I always say this, it's like I feel like there's something about that. Where in the world today can you have people of all walks of life, ages, skills, challenges, whatever, come and do something together? I mean, mm, in jobs, everybody has a proficiency to be, what they're proficient at. So it's like I always think about that all the time because it's like, you come out and you're just purely making music, you know?
Well, and even if you're dealing, the band I'm taking tonight to All District Band Night, we have 13 kids going.
It's awesome.
It's a little school. We're in Vermont. We have 13 kids. I'm like, woohoo, we got 13 kids.
Yep.
And when you have 13, you know, 10, 11, and 12-year-olds together, all they do is bicker. And and they come in here and they bicker here too. They bicker as much as, the community band there's no reason for me to say the name of.
Right.
Um, and when we come in here and the bickering starts, I go, no, that doesn't happen. We're here, we're too busy trying to take these little black notes and emote some emotion
Mhm.
to our audience and to ourselves. We don't have time to complain about stuff. If someone is playing F sharp with their first finger, then just say, oh, don't forget F sharp is when you do your second finger. There's no reason to be mean. There's no reason to bicker because in the professional music world, people don't do that. They're too busy working on their craft, which is going to add to what's around you. And I have my 10-year-olds looking at me going, oh no, he's getting philosophical again. But but the next time they come into bicker, they're like, oh, F sharp is this way. Oh, thank you for reminding me. And I'm like, yes,
Mhm.
that's the way it should be. There's a problem. Let's fix it. Let's move together. We're going to make this good. We are going to play Bluey's theme song on euphonium like no euphonium player has ever played Bluey's theme song.
Yeah. That's a great attitude, and I think it's very welcoming, and it just I don't know, it makes it worthwhile when you're all working together with like-minded, thoughts and ideas. And look, it's from the guy who's from the 1900s.
You have to. If you have 13 different ideas, that doesn't work. That's not
Right?
a band. A band, but I tell them a band is an ensemble. An ensemble, we're in Vermont, so we talk about the north end of Vermont all the
Yeah.
time when it comes to languages. Ensemble means together. You can't have 13 different people in an ensemble. You have to be together doing this.
Yeah.
And follow me. There's always that too.
Yeah. Always that. Yeah.
Don't watch the conductor, follow the conductor. And anytime, John or you, when anytime a conductor says, you have to watch the conductor, I always mumble, no, you're supposed to follow the conductor.
I know. We always say that, we're up front, nobody's watching us.
But do you say to watch? All you
Yeah.
say is watch. We are watching you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
in the front row. I can watch you.
Yeah.
I can have my eyes peeled on you and still not follow you.
Yeah. That is true.
I'm not saying I ever did that, just saying.
Yeah. Well, hey, as we're kind of wrapping up this podcast, I was just interested. As you can see, my theme of this whole thing is being lifelong learning. And I know you're very well in it and doing a lot of great things for yourself and others, which I think is amazing. I just wanted to get any insight of what you'd have to say, to folks who maybe haven't played their instrument in a while, want to come out, or folks who, maybe just be what I call, play their instrument at home and they don't really play with others. I'll say it that way, to kind of get them involved because I'm just a big supporter of, as you know, and I'm sure you are too, is, getting people to play music and keep music alive just because, I keep joking with you, but back in the 1900s, there were so many bands, right? There were so many bands performing, and I know, there was no technology. I get that. We can't hear music at the fingertips, but it's just, I don't know, there's just something about it with that emotion that you're talking about and what it does for you that I think is important for others. So I was just interested if you had any advice to share, to folks about that.
Uh, Much like the don't watch the conductor, follow the conductor.
Mhm.
Um, when I meet any parent here at school, they always come up to me and, oh, I always have an instrument. There's always some sort of instrument for me to blow through. Um, as the kids come into school, I always play as they're coming in. They got to learn what the English horn was this past few weeks, which was very exciting.
That's
But
awesome.
anytime a parent introduces himself, this is open house or whatever,
Yeah.
never ask them if they played an instrument.
Hmm.
I always ask them, which instrument did you play?
That's good.
Why go with the yes or no?
Yeah.
Oh, so what did you play? Oh, well, I played clarinet through high school. I haven't played since. I don't want to hear yes or no. Just tell me, what did you
Yeah.
play? Um, and I do the same with the teachers here, and every teacher who answers will be playing within the next few months. Um, right on the other side of my wall, I have a flute player who went to Keene High School, a flute player from Keene High School. But when the parents say, "Oh yeah, I played clarinet," oh, do you still have the clarinet? Oh, geez, I graduated in 2002. I haven't touched the clarinet since then, but do you still have it? Oh, I still have it. Well, the um the Legion band is always looking for a clarinet player, and and just give them show them the opportunities. We have the Vermont Jazz Center just down the road. We have Wyndham Orchestra. We have the Legion Band. We have the Keene State College Band needs trumpet players. You know, don't don't assume they don't want to play because they probably do because they have all those memories, the good ones and the bad ones.
Hmm.
But if they're so willing to give up oh yeah, I played clarinet, it's still at the top of their heads. They just need their instrument. And if they say, oh, I don't have an instrument, I go, oh, please, I'm the band. I can find you an instrument. That's not a problem. I can find you a tuba. Actually, my tuba player is, he hasn't hit puberty yet. He's in sixth grade. He's the tiniest little kid in sixth grade. As a fifth grader, he played a three quarters tuba. But I don't know, something weird happened. The middle school needed it, so we gave the three quarters back. So I talked to the band director, the high school band director, and said, "Do you have any tubas still around?" He goes, "Well, I have a full size." Like, okay, so we can fit two of the tuba players into the case of the tuba. So that's why I was transporting the tuba before all this for him. But I can find you an instrument. Never say to me, I want to play and think I'm not gonna follow up on it.
And that's great you say that. It's very well said because, I think everybody has played an instrument, whether it was in school or not, or just on their own at some
Right.
point, and I find it's awesome how you say that. It's like it's not that they can't do it. It's just how they can do it. And
Right.
I think it's well said, how you can get them to move forward and get them to play those instruments, and give them the resources and give them the opportunities when they think it might be a barrier. For example, like I don't have an instrument, or I always joke all the time, like you still have your instrument, you didn't get rid of it, you
Right.
know?
It's like, okay, it's like me with my email about the chorus. I haven't deleted the chorus email because there's still that part of me going, I kind of did enjoy myself being
Right.
surrounded by all those singers.
Yeah, right. Right. You enjoyed yourself and you enjoyed the experience. So, it's like you just push yourself to go to it. So very well said. So,
And, you know, we've talked about the good memories and the bad memories. I have that memory of the last community band I conducted.
mhm.
But look what that brought. That
Yeah.
brought an actual concert band. That
Yep.
brought all sorts of connections. Oh, I want to do a little you're invited to this, by the way. At Keene State College, there'll be the New England Band Directors Institute.
Oh, okay.
This year it's July 13th through 15th.
Okay.
Um, Brian Belmages will be there
Oh,
as the
that's cool.
the keynote guy. I know who next year's keynote is, but I can't tell you that. But it's a very cool thing to come see. Anybody who listens to this, check out what is it? New Hampshire Band Directors and click on New England Band Directors Institute. Lots of professional development. By far the best band development you will ever find.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah. I'll actually put that in the comment
Oh,
section.
that's cool.
I'll stick it in the comment section about that. But well, Steve, thank you so much, for being on the podcast. I really appreciate, your insight. A couple things I'll just highlight is it was just very enjoyable to talk about good, happy musicians because I think,
Oh,
you know what I mean? It's just like making it and you providing that too, and you providing that even to younger folks who are learning their instruments to be happy musicians because I think that's important, and I just have to say that's just amazing to me because, it's in this world not going any direction or any rabbit hole, as I always say, we can always go to that negative way. And yet you're going to learn from those negative experiences if you do have one and move forward. And that's what I love. So I appreciate that. And I just wanted to say, you've always been inspiring, to get folks out there to make music. And then of course with a natural concert band, it's just amazing how you're continuing that and continue moving forward with that. So it's just awesome. So, keep up the good work, I'm gonna say.
I plan to, and I should probably warn you that the plan is Joanna and I are retiring in 2032.
Okay.
So just to warn you, I will probably be conducting at least one of your tuba Christmases in 32.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
we've
cool.
decided we're just gonna like go on our MEA tour, just go to all the different MEAs to present clinics and then I went, wait a second, we have all those tuba Christmases. I always talked about, I have a friend who teaches down in the Nashville area. I'm like,
Yeah.
go teach his. We could go conduct his. And
Yeah.
Josh has some too.
Yeah, I know. I know. I always say this all the time. I talk with family members. It's, music is such a small world because
Mhm.
we're all interconnected. And it's amazing when, like if you have the time, it's amazing to work together because that's what it's all about.
And then technology, the stupid Zoom box thing here, this opened up the world
Oh,
amazing.
yes.
Uh, just before the pandemic, we had done. I was taking the band kids to do a tri-state Christmas caroling type of thing.
Yeah.
We the three states, but I realized, wait a second, we have Skype. I don't exactly know how it works, but we have Skype.
Yep.
And a friend of mine lives in Australia, is actually in Tasmania.
Yeah.
So he started the tour. He I told him he didn't have to do this, but because of the time difference, it was 2 o'clock in the next morning as we were playing for him, but he'd stayed up so we could do our national Christmas caroling tour or whatever.
That's
So
awesome.
he was on the screen and the kids were playing, I don't know, probably Jingle Bells because that's a good beginner type of five-note song.
Yeah.
So it's amazing now we can, I've presented at many clinics along the east
Yeah.
coast of the US and up through the Maritimes of Canada. But now because of Zoom, I can say, yeah, I actually Idaho, I did some Idaho and Arizona during the pandemic. They're like,
Yep.
hey, we're doing everything on Zoom. You want to do a clinic or two? I'm like, sure.
Sure.
Manitoba. That was the hottest one was the Manitoba music educators. But this stupid little Zoom thing. I don't
Yep.
have to I can so picture sitting. I can talk to you over the computer now. I
Hmm.
can so picture me sitting on the the church stairs
Hmm.
at the United Church of Berniston. You had conducted, I think you conducted Tuba Christmas, or did you play in it?
I played in it. Yeah, I played. I remember I was like, because when I came to your tuba Christmas, I was all the way in the back. I forget which tune I played. You had me play all the way in the back.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. Oh, come, oh, come, Emmanuel. You
Yeah.
did the
Or
offstage,
the offstage performance
and
of it. Yeah.
everybody does the
Yeah.
rejoice.
Yeah. Right.
But I can so picture the two of us sitting on the stairs, and Joanna was sitting in the first pew,
Yep.
and we talked for I don't know how many hours. It wasn't
Uh-huh.
over an hour, but we talked for quite a while.
We did.
And I finally went, "Where's Becky?" And you're like, "She's in the car. Do you want to go get her?" No, she's good. I'm like, "Okay."
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
She still does that today, actually, sometimes when I go and do the parades, and sometimes they're 3 or 4 hours. So, you
She's in
know,
the car. Like, okay, that's how things are.
uh-huh. Well, thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate you being involved with this. So thank you.
Thank you so much.